When your cat sleeps pressed against your chest, they have done something that works against millions of years of survival instinct. In that position, their sense is dull, the reaction time drops significantly, and in the wild, that is precisely the moment a predator strikes, and they are choosing to be there with you. That is not sweetness. That is a declaration. And once you understand the 5 specific things cats do only for the humans they love most, you are going to realize your cat has been making that declaration in different forms every single day, and you've been missing most of it. Most people assume that when their cat shows affection, they're essentially a smaller, quieter version of a dog. Cats like people, people like cats. And it's a soft, uncomplicated warmth on both sides. But that is not how cats work. Cats don't distribute their deepest behaviors across a spectrum of general fondness. They select deliberately, precisely. A 2019 study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that the majority of cats reserve their most intimate behavioral signals for a single person in a household. Not the family, not whoever feeds them most, one person. Which means if you've been seeing even some of what I'm about to show you, you haven't just made a friend, you've been chosen. And most owners never fully understand what that choosing actually looks like. Here's the thing. Each of these 5 behaviors cost your cat something, a piece of their guard, a moment of vulnerability, an instinct they've had to override. By the end of this video, you'll understand what each of those costs means. But there's one behavior in particular I want you to hold in the back of your mind as we go through all 5. It's so quiet that most people see it and register nothing. They've seen it dozens of times and moved on. But it is actually the clearest, most unambiguous thing a cat can say to another living creature. We'll get to it near the end, and when we do, I think you're going to remember every moment your cat has ever offered it to you. Before we get into the first sign, let me tell you about a woman named Elena. She adopted a gray cat named Shadow from a rescue shelter about 3 years ago. Shadow had been found in an abandoned building, malnourished, terrified of human contact, flinching at the sound of footsteps. In the first weeks at Elena's home, Shadow hid under the bed for nearly 10 days straight. Elena didn't force anything. She left food nearby, spoke softly from across the room, and waited. Gradually, over the following months, Shadow started doing things that Elena noticed, but didn't fully understand. Small things, quiet things, things Elena assumed were Shadow simply adjusting to a new environment. But they weren't adjustments, they were something else entirely. We'll come back to Shadow before this video ends, because what eventually happened between them is exactly what I want you to be thinking about. 1. Following you from room to room. In a moment, I'm going to show you what this behavior actually reveals about the way your cat perceives you, and it goes far deeper than most owners ever suspect. But first, here's the part most people completely miss. When your cat follows you, the common assumption is they're bored, they're hungry, they want something from you. And sometimes that's true. But when it happens consistently, when your cat appears at the bathroom door, drifts into the kitchen behind you, settles near your feet at your desk, that is not about what they want. That is about where they feel safe. Cats are territorial animals. In the wild, a cat's survival depends on knowing and controlling its space. They do not move unnecessarily. They do not expose themselves to open corridors or unfamiliar rooms without a reason. Every unnecessary movement is a calculated risk. And yet your cat follows you across the house, from room to room, across every surface, through every doorway. Think about that for a second. They're not following the house, they're following you. To your cat, you have become the fixed point of safety in an otherwise uncertain world. In cat behavioral science, this is called social proximity, and it maps almost identically to the secure attachment patterns observed in human infants toward primary caregivers. Your cat does not follow just anyone. They don't trail a stranger through the hallway. They don't shadow a family member they haven't fully decided about. The following is selective. It is precise. And if it happens with you, it means you have become their anchor, the one presence in their environment that makes the environment feel navigable. Here's what most owners never think about. Every time you've walked into another room and your cat appeared in the doorway and you glanced at them and looked back at your screen, your cat was extending something, proximity, presence, and offer of connection. And most of the time, it went unreceived. Most owners go their cat's entire life seeing following as background noise, when in fact their cat was speaking clearly in one of the only languages they have. The practical truth is simple. When your cat follows you, acknowledge them. Not with a long interaction, not with a treat, just with your voice. A quiet word as you pass, a glance and a soft sound. That small response completes the exchange your cat was initiating. And over months and years, the accumulation of those completed exchanges is the architecture of your bond. Following is the invitation. The next behavior is the offering. And it's one most owners receive without having any idea what they're actually being given. 2. Bringing you gifts. There's something about this behavior that changes completely once you understand its instinctive origin. And understanding it will mean you never respond to it the same way again. You may have experienced this. You wake up and find a toy mouse beside your pillow, or a crumpled piece of foil on the bathroom floor. Or if your cat has outdoor access, something considerably less welcome. And your immediate reaction is probably confusion, maybe amusement, maybe mild horror. But here is what nobody tells you about what is actually happening. In the wild, mother cats bring prey back to their kittens. First as food, then as living prey, so kittens can practice the skills they need to survive. Bringing something valuable back to a member of your social group is a deeply instinctive feline behavior. It's a form of care, of provision, of inclusion. When your cat brings you an object, they are not playing, they are not confused, they are not trying to show off, they are providing for you. In their social framework, you are a member of their inner circle, and members of the inner circle deserve a share of what has been found. Here's what makes this even more fascinating. Cats in domestic environments who don't hunt regularly will substitute prey with household objects. A hair tie, a sock, a toy, a crinkled wrapper. The item is entirely beside the point. What matters is the act of carrying it to you, placing it at your feet, and presenting it with the kind of vocalizations that in cat language mean, "Look what I brought for you." A 2014 study from the University of Edinburgh found that gift-giving in domestic cats is most consistently directed toward the individual the cat has the strongest attachment bond with. Not the person who feeds them most, not the most frequent playmate, the person they feel safest with. Most owners go their cat's entire life never realizing this. They move the object aside without acknowledging it. Their cat watches. The circuit of the gesture never closes. The next time your cat brings you something, anything, stop. Look at them. Use a warm tone. Thank them, genuinely, even if it feels strange. That response tells your cat that the offering landed, that they were seen, that the bond they were reaching out to confirm is real. That one moment of recognition means more to that behavior than any amount of playing or feeding ever could. 3. Unique vocalizations reserved only for you. Here's a fact that stops people cold the first time they hear it. Cats don't meow at other cats. After kittenhood, meowing is a behavior that evolved almost entirely for communicating with humans. Adult cats in the wild use chirps, trills, growls, and hisses with each other, but the sustained, variable meow that most owners know so well, that emerged through thousands of years of cats living alongside people. Cats invented a language to speak to us, and then many of them refined that language further, down to one person. If you pay close attention, you may have noticed that your cat makes certain sounds only in your presence. A specific greeting vocalization when you come through the door that no one else in the house hears. A questioning trill when you're in the kitchen. A drawn-out melodic sound when you've been away longer than usual. These are not random. Over months and years, your cat has studied your responses. What sounds made you turn toward them? What tones made you smile? What calls reliably brought you back into the room? And they have refined those sounds into something calibrated specifically for you. A private dialect, one that exists between the two of you and no one else. In cat language, this kind of personalized vocalization is not given freely. Cats don't invest this kind of behavioral precision in people they feel neutral about. This is what attention and attachment look like in a species that does not perform affection. Your cat is not meowing at the room. They are talking to you, specifically, in a language they built with you in mind. Most owners who recognize this describe it as one of the most quietly remarkable things about their relationship with their cat, like being in on something private, like having a connection that operates at a frequency only the two of you can access. And that is exactly what it is, because your cat built that frequency for you. And hey, if this is making you see your cat in a way you never have before, hit subscribe. It's the best way to make sure other cat owners understand what their cats have been trying to tell them to. The next behavior is different from everything we've covered so far. The first three involve things your cat does toward you. The last two involve your cat giving you access to the parts of themselves they protect most carefully. And the first of those is something you may have experienced without ever understanding the full weight of what it meant. 4. Sleeping pressed against your body. Remember at the very beginning, when I said there is one behavior that goes against everything in a cat survival architecture, and that most owners completely misread it? This is it. When a cat sleeps against you, most people land on warmth. The couch is soft, you are warm, and the cat has found a comfortable arrangement. It seems simple, it seems obvious, but here is what the science tells you is actually happening. Sleep is the single state of maximum vulnerability in a cat's life. Their hearing drops, their muscle response time slows significantly, their ability to detect and react to threat reaches its lowest point. In the wild, sleep is dangerous. Where a cat chooses to sleep, and especially who they choose to sleep against, is not a casual decision. It is one of the highest stakes choices they make. And your cat has made that choice against your body. Researchers studying domestic cat behavior have found that cats who sleep in physical contact with their owner, not just nearby, but in actual contact, show measurably lower cortisol levels, the hormone directly associated with stress and threat response. What that means is that your cat's nervous system, in proximity to you, has actively down-regulated its vigilance. It has made a biological decision that you are safe. Not just a behavioral gesture of comfort, a physiological response. Their body has reached a conclusion about you. Think about what that means for a moment. Your cat's biology has weighed the evidence of your presence over all the time they have known you and returned a verdict. This is safe. I don't need to be alert here. I can let go. This is where Shadow comes back into the story. For months, Elena had watched Shadow slowly come closer, first to the edge of the bed, then to the foot of it. Then one night, Elena woke at around 2 in the morning and felt a small, warm pressure against the back of her knees. Shadow was pressed there, completely still, breathing slowly and evenly. Elena said she didn't move. She barely breathed. She just lay in the dark with this cat she had spent months waiting for, and in that moment she understood something that she hadn't understood before. Shadow hadn't been adjusting to the house. Shadow had been deciding carefully, slowly, with complete seriousness, whether there was a human being in the world she could trust again. And that night, pressed against Elena's legs in the dark, she gave her answer. If your cat has ever slept against you even once, even briefly, that is what was happening. They were giving you an answer. Most owners go their cat's entire lives without fully understanding what those quiet, warm, sleepy moments actually meant. But you're understanding it now. The location adds another layer. If your cat sleeps against your chest or near your head, they're seeking the sound of your heartbeat and your breathing, the same sensory anchors kittens use to feel safe with their mother. In the wild, even among adult cats, sleeping within hearing distance of another's heartbeat is a behavior reserved for genuine social bonds. If your cat sleeps near your feet or legs instead, its closeness, combined with a degree of environmental awareness, they can monitor the room while staying near you. Either way, the choice to be in physical contact with you is the gesture. Everything else is just how they choose to make it. 5. The slow blink. This is the one that will stay with you long after this video ends. Your cat is sitting across the room, your eyes happen to meet, and then, slowly, their eyelids lower and rise again. Unhurried, deliberate, soft. Most people register this as nothing, a momentary spacing out, a flicker of tiredness. It is neither. In the animal world, sustained direct eye contact is almost universally a signal of threat or challenge. Predators hold the gaze of their prey. Rivals lock eyes to establish dominance. For most animals, including cats, being stared at means being targeted. And yet your cat, who lives inside both the predator and the prey, meets your eyes and goes soft and closes them slowly and returns. What they are doing, in the precise language of their species, is lowering every defense they carry. The slow blink is a cat saying, I am not watching for danger near you. I am not on alert near you. In your presence, I am at peace in a way that almost nothing else in the world gives me. Researchers at the University of Sussex published a study in 2020 confirming that cats slow blink significantly more toward people they have strong attachment bonds with, and that they respond positively when those people slow blink back. The gesture is reciprocal. It is a conversation, initiated by either party, received by either party, and when it is exchanged, it functions as a moment of confirmed trust between two creatures that do not share a spoken language, but have found a way to say something true to each other anyway. To return it, soften your gaze. Don't stare with focus or intensity. Let your eyes relax. Close slowly. Hold for just a breath, and open again. If your cat blinks back, sit with that for a moment, because you've just had an entire conversation about love without a single sound passing between you. Here's what matters most about this sign. You cannot manufacture it. You cannot train it or prompt it into existence. It arises only out of genuine ease, genuine trust, genuine calm, genuine affection, which means every single time your cat has ever slow blinked in your direction, every quiet moment you may have glanced past without registering it, they were offering you something that they do not offer anyone who hasn't earned it completely. Most owners go their cat's entire life seeing this and thinking, oh, they look sleepy. And their cat sits across the room, having just handed them the clearest, most unguarded declaration they are capable of making, in silence, in the softening of their eyes, in the willingness, however briefly, to stop watching and just be near you. So the next time your cat is across the room and your eyes happen to meet, don't look away. Stay there for a moment. Let your gaze go soft. Close your eyes slowly and watch what comes back to you. Because to your cat, you are not simply a familiar presence in a familiar space. You are the one living thing in the world that makes them feel safe enough, trusted enough, loved enough to close their eyes.